Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1939 comedy, romance, The Rules of the Game.
Oh, excuse-moi. Tu sais, tu n'es pas un idiot. Tu es un poète. Un dangereux poète.
Hey, well, that's very nice of you to say. I hope that's true one day. But who's out here calling me a fool? I'm just here trying to review every movie in this book. The 1001 movies you must see before you die. We all have very strong opinions of the movies we love, and we all have different opinions, and that's okay. And I just want everyone to remember that before I review this film. This is my fifth Jean Renoir film that I have ever seen in my life. The other four were The Grand Illusion, The French Can-Can, A Day in the Country, and Baudu Saved from Drowning. I have reviewed all four of those as well. Originally, this movie flopped in the box office, and like a lot of films right on the cusp of World War II, this one was banned in France for being demoralizing. This is a ruthless critique of the French society. The film exposes the moral emptiness of the French upper class just before World War II. It portrays aristocrats and their servants in tangled romances, affairs, hypocrisy, and indifference. The movie was shocking for 1939. It mocked the elite at a time when audiences expected glamour. It suggested that social society's rules were hollow and destructive, and it indirectly reflected the instability leading up to the war. It had revolutionary filmmaking. It used deep focus cinematography with multiple layers of action happening all at once and all in focus. One example of this is there is a point in the movie where there are two groups of men fighting. They're going fisticuffs, they're punching each other, they're hitting each other, they're just going toe to toe, and one group is in the foreground, one group is in the background, and you see the action happening with both groups, and it is seamless, it's all in focus, and it looks really good for 1939. Incredibly revolutionary. They used long takes with fewer cuts, allowing scenes to unfold naturally, and it had complex staggering. Characters move in and out of frame very fluidly. It blended comedy and tragedy and showed farce and humor masking deeper social decay. And it was a sudden, shocking ending that reforms everything. I will say the ending was shocking in like what actually happens to one of the characters, but you could tell that this was all going to boil over in some way that was tragic. There was just too much infighting, too much cheating, too much backstabbing going on. Something had to happen eventually, and you could feel that tension, and you could feel that something was going to go awry, but you didn't actually fully expect what happened in this film. Now, instead of focusing on a single protagonist, the film juggles many characters across social classes, including aristocrats, servants, and outsiders. Now, to start off, this movie opens up with a man who is an aviator named Andre. He is returning in his plane from a cross-Atlantic flight that he made. He was one of the first people to do a cross-Atlantic flight. There's tons of fanfare. There's tons of people there to greet him, to cheer him on, to root for what he did. There's the media, there's the news, there's just a big spectacle for what this guy has done. And when they get up, he gets up to the podium, the media asks him what he thinks about what he did. Now there's a gentleman there who's one of his friends named Octave, who is played by Jean Renoir, and Octave lets him know that the woman he is in love with, named Christine, has not made it to this lovely event, and this depresses Andre incredibly, because he said the whole reason why he did this flight, the whole reason why he did the cross-Atlantic thing was to please Christine. It was all because of her. Everything he does in life is because of her, and she didn't show up to this. And he really lets her have it during this speech. And Octave, who was very disappointed by what just happened, said, you had all these people who were here to cheer for you, and all you did was complain about a woman who didn't show up. and you looked really bad in front of the world and really bad in front of everyone. And he just really lays into Andre about it. Now, to understand this movie, it's very complex. I would say in terms of trying to describe it, because it's all about the characters in this film, and there's a lot of different relationships and things are going on. I'm going to try to describe it the best way I can right now. So we have Andre, who is the aviator, correct? He is in love with a girl named Christine. Christine is married to a gentleman named Robert. Now, Robert knows all about Andre and about the past relationship that Andre and Christine had. He's not exactly happy with it, but he understands that they once had this relationship with each other. Now, Robert is having a mistress affair with a girl named Genevieve, who Christine does not know about. So we have Andre, we have Christine. Andre is in love with Christine. Christine is married to Robert. Robert knows about Andre. Robert is having a mistress named Genevieve, and Christine does not know about Genevieve. So those are those four right there. Now, Christine has a maid named Lisette. Lisette is married to a man named Schumacher. Now, Lisette is more loyal to Christine than she is to her husband. If she had to choose staying with her husband or working with Christine, she would choose to work with Christine. Later in the movie, a gentleman is hired into this house to do just regular like cooking and butlery stuff and just things around the house. His name is Moreau or Morneau. I don't remember which one of those two. Now, he immediately falls for Lisette, and she seems like she falls for him. So we have Lisette, who is the maid to Christine. She is married to Schumacher. She eventually tries to have this relationship with Morneau. So she tries to have a cheating relationship with Morneau. They end up like flirting with each other. They don't necessarily like act on it seems like, but they do a lot of flirting with each other. Now, that's kind of the relationship there. So later in the movie, or actually I guess it's towards the beginning of the movie, Octave convinces Christine to invite Andre over to a party that they're having so they can kind of hash things out, and maybe Andre can no longer have this crush that he has on Christine, and she can just go along being married with her husband, Robert. Now, Robert decides he's going to invite Genevieve to this party as well, and maybe Genevieve and Andre will get together. You'll have Christine's kind of old flame slash new guy she's like kind of going with, and then you have Robert's mistress. Maybe they'll get together. It'll solve all their problems because then neither one of them will be cheating on the other one. So they invite both of them to this party. Now, eventually, Christine learns that Robert is cheating on her with Genevieve. There's a lot of friction between Andre and between Robert. Robert eventually concedes that his wife loves Andre, and he goes to like say, okay, you can be with her. That's fine. I don't mind. There's also a scene in this film. One of my least favorite things about this movie, I will say, is that a lot of the action, especially the beginning to the middle, involves a duck hunt or like a rabbit hunt that they're going on, and they're like killing rabbits and pheasant and stuff left and right, and it's just, that's not my kind of thing. I'm not a huge fan of movies that depict the hunting and the killing of animals. I realize it's a very normal thing for people to hunt, and very normal thing for people to consider a sport, even though one side definitely has a huge advantage over the other side. It's very normal for people to do stuff like that. I'm just not a fan of it. I don't like watching it. I don't like seeing animals suffer. I don't like seeing animals get killed and shot. So that the whole part of that movie was, I turned off completely for that part of the movie. So eventually, it's just so, there's just so much that goes on, but nothing really happens ever. Eventually, at the end of the movie, Christine decides that she doesn't want to be with Robert or Andre, that she wants to be with Octave, and she starts hitting on Octave, and she tells him that she wants to run away with him, and that they should go away together, and that he's the one that she really loves. Also, with the Moreau and Lisette thing, Moreau ends up getting in a fight with Shoemaker. Shoemaker ends up pulling a gun out in this party, and he just starts like randomly trying to shoot Morneau at this party with tons of people around him. So there could be like a group of people just standing around talking, and he just like fires his gun into a crowd trying to shoot this guy, and he continuously just keeps firing his gun at people at this party over and over again. Just totally not caring if he's going to hit someone or if he's going to kill someone. He's laser focused on trying to kill this guy who he thinks is cheating with his wife. So it's a lot of fighting, a lot of cheating, a lot of realizing that your spouse is cheating in this film. That's basically the whole story. And then at the end, one of these principal characters ends up meeting a tragic end. I'm not going to say which character it is. I'm not going to say like what the necessary events that lead up to it or how they meet a tragic end, because it really is like the only real payoff in this film. I would say the only real exciting thing about this film, besides the fist punching and the fighting. There's a lot of really cool fighting scenes in this film where people are just hitting and punching each other left and right, which brought at least some action to the movie. But I would say the end is probably like the bigger payoff. And then there's this conversation between two characters who we thought hated each other, but at the end they kind of have this moment together where they seem to at least understand what the other person's going through, and they're able to talk to each other and have some sort of little bit of like camaraderie or something at the end of the film. But this movie is really just about people from different classes, the aristocrats, the servants, having affairs with each other, kind of mocking that structure of like who should be with who. And I guess that's shocking for the time. And the acting's pretty good in this film. There's some good pieces of acting. I just honestly thought this film was really boring, and the scenes with the rabbit hunt and stuff just completely turned me off. I wasn't really into the movie there at all. This film's like an hour and 40 minutes or an hour and 50 minutes. It took me like 2 days to finish it, just because I find it to be so slow and just so boring. I wasn't at all interested in a lot of the interactions that are going on with these people. There's just so many relationships and things to keep track of, and I don't know, the ending is shocking, but like I said, something's going to happen. There's going to be some boiling point that's going to happen. The cinematography is really good. I really like how they were able to do these scenes and keep them in focus and have multiple things going on at one time without it getting blurry. For 1939, that seems like it's a really cool trick that they're doing, really cool stuff with the camera. But this movie's just not for me. I would say that Jean Renoir is hit or miss for me, really. I was a huge fan of The Grand Illusion. I really liked A Day in the Country, but Bordeaux Saved from Drowning and The French Can-Can, I didn't like at all. And Bordeaux Saved from Drowning is probably on one of my 10 least favorite movies I've ever seen in my life. So it's really hit or miss for me with him. And this is going to be right in the middle. I would say it's Grand Illusion, Day in the Country, French Can-Can, Bordeaux Saved from Drowning. Grand Illusion, Day in the Country, The Rules of the Game, French Can-Can, and then Bordeaux Saved from Drowning in that order. This movie just didn't do it for me. It doesn't have anything that I really like in it. It didn't keep my attention. It was just so slow. And it's just not the kind of movie that I enjoy watching. I'm still going to get a 7 out of 10 just because it did do some cool stuff. The ending was pretty the ending can be seen as being like something you didn't expect. I still appreciate what they were doing. I still appreciate what they were going for. It's just not my kind of movie, but it's not a terrible movie. It's just long and boring, and I didn't get into it. But I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I hope you join me next time when I review. It's the last movie of the 1930s, so it'll be the movie that I wrap up the 1930s in. I think it's called The Last of the Chrysanthemums. It's something along that line. So thank you. I hope you have a great day.